Hi, my name is Keri Barnum, and I am here for Free Advice Friday, the hour every Friday where we get together to talk about book marketing, publishing, writing, anything that happens to do with writing a book and getting it out into the world. And so we are answering questions live. You can join us at newshelves.com/FAF, again, every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, or of course, you can watch the replays on YouTube. Today we have a question that we're going to jump off with, and it's talking about this reacher ads, reader reach ads. I guess I should call it the right thing. Reader reach ads is something that was just announced by Written Word Media, and Written Word Media is the parent company to Bargain Booksy that many of us have used for ebook discounts. Free Booksy, again, for those discounts. And so you may be familiar with them already, and they just announced that they're doing this new ad program. I got a couple of emails over the last couple of days asking about if it's worthwhile, if I recommend it. Obviously, I haven't really used it yet, so I can't recommend it or not. However, after just reading the description, I do have a couple of thoughts. Because of course I do, right? But the essence of it is that reader reach ads are a way to run Facebook and Instagram ads, but you're not actually running them. You are hiring Written Word Media to do that for you. So the idea behind it is you just send over some basic materials, and then what happens is that Written Word Media will then run ads on Facebook and on Instagram to different genres, to different audiences that they're targeting to get your book out into the world and hopefully reach some new readers. So what's the good? Like, what's good about it? And what's good about it is that you don't have to learn how these ad platforms work to use the system, because they are going to do it for you, which is really nice. I'm going to share my screen actually, because I have their thing coming up. All right. I'm going to share my screen so we can actually look at this together. So what's nice about it here is that, as you can see, they do it for you. All you have to do is pick a schedule, and then they set up these ads for you, and they come on their accounts though. So this is important to note, is that as they're promoting your book, which is great, it's coming from their account, Free Booksy, Bargain Booksy, that sort of thing. And they kind of do it for you. It seems to be pretty cost efficient as far as not too expensive. You don't have to learn the platform. These are all good things, right? And they're run by Bargain Booksy and Free Booksy and Written Word Media, who we love. So that's what this is. But the downside is, number one, they're controlling your ad. So if it's working really well, you have to keep paying them to do it. It's not in your own accounts. Number two, as they are advertising your book, one of the kind of side benefits is that as you run advertising, you reach a large audience, and you can invite that audience to like your accounts and your page, therefore growing your page. And if someone else is running that ad through their account, you don't get that. So that's kind of a drawback, is that you're not able to grow your own platforms with your ads when you're doing this. And you don't learn what works to get clicks for your books, to get the traffic to your websites. So you can't really duplicate it. You can't keep it running unless you would like to keep paying. So that's kind of the ups and the downs, is that it's an easy to use service. It really sounds like it's not very expensive. Again, I haven't used it, so I can't give actual full detail, but and it's done for you. You give them basics, they run ads, they set them up. So it's easy, but you may not get the full benefit of ads that I typically recommend if you're going to use those Facebook ads and Instagram as well. So I think it's worthwhile to try it if you don't want to deal with setting up your own ads, or you just aren't really great at it. But as a long-term solution, it may not work well because you're constantly going to be paying out. So I'm not sure that your ROI when you are paying someone to create ads and for the ad spend will put you out on top in the long run. And if you have follow-up questions, let me know. I know Wendy, you had sent that in. Samantha had sent it in too. All right, Caroline, what is IBPA? It is the Independent Book Publishers Association. IBPA is an organization that supports indie booksellers, indie publishers, and indie authors. It's one of the programs that I've recommended highly. IBPA has a lot of great resources. They do offer the Ingram Spark codes for uploads, and IBPA also does conferences and things. They actually just announced their 2022 conference, I believe. It's going to be a hybrid of in person and in Florida. So it's a great resource. Yep, in April. And April's a great time to go to Florida. I'm from New York. Anytime that it might be snowing is a great time to go to Florida. Last time I went, it was January. It was awesome. I was in shorts the entire time. All right. What do you think of Draft to Digital? I love Draft to Digital. For those who may not know, Draft to Digital, it's DRAFT, the number 2, digital.com, is a way to get your ebook distribution out. If you are going wide, if you want your book to be an Overdrive, Barnes and Noble for Kobo, Bibliotheca, if you want a one-stop shop to get your book pretty much everywhere, Draft to Digital is my top pick. It's easy to use and to navigate. And they have a really great range. They have a lot of distribution opportunities, which I think is great. The only place I don't recommend typically using Draft to Digital for is on Amazon. You are much better off going directly to KDP for your ebook distribution there. But a caveat, if you are working on a collaboration or an anthology, anthologies are really hot right now. I have 3 or 4 clients who are working with anthologies. One who's working on 3 anthologies because she's an overachiever and awesome. But so when you're working with an anthology, if you're splitting payment, you can do that on Draft to Digital and it does it automatically. So that's a really cool feature. If you are a co-author or you are working with someone else on a book and you split the royalty payments, Draft to Digital allows you to do that. And that's a huge boon. And they do distribute over to Amazon. You don't have all the perks of KDP, like being able to run ads and things like that. But it is an option, especially if you're trying to split royalties. Yes, and it's one upload. Can you go to iTunes and get an account and upload your books there, and go to Barnes and Noble or Nook and get an account and upload your book there? Yes, you can. You may even make slightly more profit, but in the end, it's so much more work that, in my opinion, it's not worth it. I'd rather get it up one spot, one place. You can schedule out promotions. If you know you're going to do an ebook promotion a month from now, you can schedule the start and the end dates right now. So you don't have to remember or worry that you'll forget, anything like that. So I am a big fan of Draft to Digital. Let's see. I'm prepping the timeline for recording the audio version of my book. Do you know how much lead time on Find a Way Voices from post to live? In this group, I've heard 6 weeks, but sometimes as long as 2 to 3 months. Cheryl, you got it. I wish there was a more solid time, but really anywhere from 6 weeks to 2 to 3 months is what we're seeing. It depends on how backed up and busy they are. It also depends on their partner. So if you are trying to get your ebook into Overdrive, which is a library system, it is much slower. I am seeing that definitely take two months or more. But if you are looking at getting it up on, let's say, iBooks, it's quicker. When I've worked with Find a Way Voices, typically we see iBooks and Kobo show up first. Amazon takes a little bit longer, and the library options like Overdrive take the longest. But again, it just kind of depends on the market and how many people are using the systems, how often those systems are updating their metadata. Because at some point, what it is Findaway Voices pushes the information, the metadata out to all of these places. And it's up to those places to refresh and upload and accept the title in. So it's kind of a two-way street. Let's see. I'm published with a small publisher. Is it worth the money for me to join IBPA to get the Netgalley discount and to get my books brought to the Frankfurt Book Fair? Eileen, it just depends on what you're doing with it. IBPA is fantastic. Your publisher may already have may already subscribe to them. I don't know. But if you join IBPA, you can submit yourself for the Ben Franklin Awards, which are very highly sought after and recognized awards. There's the Netgalley discount for sure, which mostly if you're doing multiple books, and it's typically new books, keep that in mind too. The Frankfurt Book Fair is great. It really just, again, it depends on your book and what your end goal is, but I would check with your publisher and make sure they're not part of an organization or a publishing organization that already would kind of offer you the benefits through your publisher. However, I am a big fan of being parts of these organizations anyway. I think it's a great way to connect, to network, to get resources, and they're not very expensive. It's not free, it's not cheap, but some of them, depending on your level of authorship and if you are but if you're an author, if you're publishing and an author, the prices kind of climb up. But definitely for under $200, you can get into that. So it depends on how much you're going to use the resources on if it would really benefit you. But I do think that they're a wonderful organization. IBPA is the Independent Book Publishing Association. And then, of course, there's Ally, which is the Alliance of Independent Authors. Big fan of them as well. So I think it's worth it. And I'm a part of them all. We've already established that I apparently have publishing organization FOMO. So I just sign up for all of them. Let's see. Yes, Jane, you know you can email me and I'll talk to you about Drafted Digital. Let's see. Caroline, good morning. I have a Chirp deal next week. Yay. How do I lower the price on Audible? The book is on Findaway for maximum distribution. Caroline, double check your correspondence with Findaway Voices, because last time a client of mine had a Findaway Voices deal, they took care of the entire discount. Because all the distribution was through Findaway, and that's how it got on Audible, they did all of the discount. So I would double check with them to ensure whether or not they do that, because if your book's not uploaded directly to Audible through ACX and you're using Findaway Voices, that's where you lower the discount. But Chirp is supposed to go over to Findaway Voices and automatically lower that, so you don't have to. So double check with them. And guys, I know I said it a couple of weeks ago, Chirp is hot. Chirp is an audiobook discount. It's the sister company to BookBub. So if you've got an audiobook and it's wide, you're not exclusive to ACX, consider submitting your book to Chirp. I just had another client, she's probably on here, Julia, who submitted to Chirp and got a deal as well. This is a great way to get sales, to get reviews, to get your audiobook out in a big way. You do have to discount it, of course, anywhere between free and $4.99. But they send it out to a huge audience. You get those sales. And the best part is, currently, because Chirp is fairly new, they're not charging BookBub for a BookBub deal, especially if you're in a hot genre like mystery or suspense. It can be anywhere. I mean, I've seen them from $1,000 to $2,000 is what you're paying for the privilege of getting your book sent out on a BookBub deal. Chirp charges nothing at the moment. They simply require that you put your book price down. So as they're growing their list and their audience, they are not charging the author anything, which is amazing. That's not going to last forever. So make sure that if you've got an audiobook that is wide, consider doing that. I know that Shira Shaloa did that for her ebook or audiobook Emergence, and she's going to write a blog article about her results because she got over, it was close to 700 audiobook sales, I think, right off the bat. And so she's going to share all the details there, but 700 audiobook sales. Think of the reviews, think of the movement, think of how you got your book out in audiobook, because that can be hard. Audiobooks being a little bit newer, there's not as many specific ways to market and advertise for an audiobook. Like you can't run ads for them on Amazon. Yes, if you've done your work and you have linked your audiobook and your paperback and your hardcover on Amazon and you're promoting those and you're advertising, you'll kind of get the benefit of it all showing. But as far as direct consumer ads for audiobooks specifically, there's not as much out there as there are for ebook and paperback. So it's fun that this is a great opportunity that doesn't cost you anything other than lowering your profit margin. And let's be honest, were you going to sell 700 audiobooks anyway? Probably not. So I think it's worth it for sure. Let's see. Yeah, I thought so, Julia. So Julia is saying that they did say they would take care of all of the discounts. So Caroline, double check that. I think that's where it stands. Yeah. Oh, and that's great. Tara's saying that Books Go Social, which is run by Lawrence, I believe. I'm forgetting his last name because I'm horrible. But Books Go Social runs inexpensive 1 month slots for Netgalley. So that is cool to know. If you've been looking at Netgalley and you want to get in there and see about getting in cheaper, check out Books Go Social. All right. All right. With Chirp, how long would you have it discounted? The discount on Chirp is for a month. They do a full month, they email out, and then it stays up on their website at a discount for a month. All right. Although I have created Amazon ads for my picture books, I'm not very good at tracking, monitoring, etc. I want to spend my time on writing, not worrying about Amazon ads, which are important. I've heard about Books Go Social to help with your Amazon ads. Have you any thoughts or suggestions? There are a couple companies that will do Amazon ads for you. Keep in mind, they are charging you typically a monthly fee. So you have to make sure that your profit is worth it. But I know that Derek Doepker does a program. I think Books Go Social. There's another one, Brian something or another. Brian Cohen does it too, but there's another Brian that does it. Again, it's just, do you have the funds to pay for ongoing management? If so, fine. However, if you can manage them, if you get your ad set up well in the beginning and you then have a good base foundation, it's really checking in to make sure that they're doing well and maybe calling for help when you need it. So it just depends on where you are, Pat, if your ads are profitable and if they're moving, or if you're currently still trying to build up to that spot. But there are several companies that do that will set up ads and run them for you. You just have to keep in mind that you have to keep paying them. So by the time you have your ad spend, because when you're looking at ads, you've got to look at your ad spend. You have to look at what you're actually making after your book is printed or delivered, what your royalty is. Take out the ad spend and take out what the management is charging and decide if it's then worth it to you. Is the ROI good? Are you just trying to get out there and get really big exposure? And again, is it worth it to you? And that's a you question. It completely depends. You've got time or you've got money when you're marketing books. So which one are you going to invest and which one are you going to work for? Yeah, Brian Cohen, Tara, but there's another one. Wendy probably knows because we were talking the other day. Let's see. I have a book on how Mexico helped us in World War II. Since this is Hispanic Heritage Month, how do I get more exposure for it before the month ends? Well, that's cool. And I didn't know it was Hispanic Heritage Month, and I'm kind of ashamed of myself, but very cool. I would say make sure that you're using trending hashtags for Hispanic Heritage Month on social media. That's a great way to get in there. Perhaps you do a social media piece, or you see if there are any newsletters that are featuring things from historic heritage. I'm going to just butcher this, Hispanic Heritage Month, that you can kind of tie in and connect to. But social media for things like this is probably your best bet if you were in advance. So if you were to push out now, let's say to bookstores or libraries or things like that, and talk about Hispanic Heritage Month, that's great. However, it's too late for them to display your book as part of that month. So keep in mind when we've got these big months or these holidays or things that our book can tie into, that we want to promote that to booksellers, libraries. We want to promote that weeks to months in advance. We want to give them enough time to order our book and display it with other books that are also in that holiday or celebration range. So I think that for now, because it's a little, we're halfway through, focus on social media, really use those hashtags, push it out that way, maybe even reach out to a blogger or two that is Hispanic or celebrating, or that would maybe be interested in celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and see if they have any last minute slots or would be interested in a featured article from you where you actually talk about, you do a short blog that their interest would be captured by their audience, and you give them something of value, and then you get a byline at the end where your book is talked about. So there are things you can do, but time is tight, so definitely move forward. And for next year, remember to, if you have a September holiday or event that you would like to tie your book to, you need to start promoting it to libraries and bookstores in July, at least July, so that you can promote it in July so they have time to order and receive the book in order to display it in September. And even earlier than that would be great. See. All right, Wendy, I think we're going back to the reacher ads, the reader reach ads. Wouldn't the ads pay for themselves and make a profit if they're monitoring the winners and getting rid of the losers? Clarify for me in the chat though, Wendy, are we talking about the reader reach ads or the Amazon ads? Completely depends. Either way, if we're talking about the Amazon ads and we're talking about when they get better, let's see. The reader reach ad. So Amazon ads, yes, of course, if it's done in your account, you're going to benefit from that over time. So absolutely. The reader reach ads, I feel like everything's a tongue tie today. The reader reach ads, yes, they would get better over time, but keep in mind, they're not just promoting your book, they're promoting your genre. So as they're promoting this book, maybe you're promoting a romance, but you have a really sweet romance, and they had just promoted a book that was very steamy and erotic. Is it really going to help you in the long run? Maybe not. But even if it does, while you're reaching the right audience, the question is more of it's something that you have to be tied to them to do. If you want those ads to run, then you have to keep going back to them. Whereas if you build those ads up in your own accounts, you can also get rid of the losers, keep the winners, take the data and really build on that. And from that, build up your own ads in your own pages and accounts. Again, you either have the time and the willingness to learn something and grow it in your own account, or you say, I've got $100. I'm going to just push it that way and see what happens. It might be worth it for you. You don't know until you try. I was just looking at the ups and downs that could be there. All right, Brad is asking, KDP has announced their case laminate hardcover option, but as of last night, it wasn't working. The add hardcover books option weren't available in the dashboard. What do you think of case laminate hardcovers for fiction books? Do you recommend them? Well, Brad, I think that sometimes it works. It works. Case laminate books are fine. I will say that hardcover books are usually not bought by the average consumer because they're more expensive. Now, there are some cases, especially people who are like, they collect books, they really like an author or a series. And then, of course, librarians are more likely to buy hardcover books. Universities and schools are more likely to buy hardcover books because of the usage they get. Bookstores and the average consumer are much more likely to go for paperback because the cost is lower and it's an easier yes for the reader. If you are showing me a hardcover and a paperback of the same book, and I know I'm only going to read it once because that's the kind of reader I am, and I'm either going to pay $14.99 or $24.99, I'm going to go with the paperback every time. And there are a lot of people that think that way. The KDP hardcovers I have liked so far. As of right now, unless it's changed, they're not offering a author discount for those books. So I don't think they've taken over Ingram Spark yet. I do think it's a great option, and I know it was in beta testing and they're kind of starting to roll it out a little bit. So we'll be watching to see what happens. And I always say, does it hurt you to have a hardcover? If you have the cover, if you have the options, if you have those options and you have the cover and you have the interior files typically the same, why not add a hardcover? Why not give your audience one more thing, one more option to order if that's what they prefer? I don't think it ever hurts you to have that hardcover, but it may not be your bestseller. And that's great. Terry's saying that she was finally able to order an author copy this week for a hardcover, and it was at a discounted rate. So it seems like KDP may be rolling this out little by little, which we've seen them do in the past, where it'll show up in some accounts and not others, and it slowly starts to steamroll where they put it in more and more accounts and make it available. So maybe we're on to good things. We'll be looking forward to that. I'd love to know what you think of your copy once you get it, Tara. Also, Tara, when you ordered when you ordered the book at a discounted rate, was it just print price, or was it, I mean, obviously it was discounted, but when you order your paperback, it's your print price only. Is that how it was for the hardcover, or was it a different discount? Print price. That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. I think that's a great thing. All right. In the spring, I know New Shelves does a promotion to help authors get out in front of fall holiday retail sales. Can you remind me, please, what that service includes? So we do mailings to our retail buyers. We have a list of 3,000 retail buyers where we reach out with holiday books and we promote them. That did already end. Those are the reports I was working on for our bookstore clients. We typically do those in August, September for the Christmas and the winter holidays, and that has already gone out. Bookstores are really busy in the holiday season. We're talking from November until January. They are swamped. It is the worst time to contact a bookstore. They've already made their buying decisions. They don't have the extra employees to answer phones and emails and things like that. So we stop all of our bookstore outreach, all of our retail outreach. We stop in November, and we don't pick back up until the second week in January typically. That way we are in their good graces. We don't bombard them when they're already busy, and it's worked out really well for us. And that's typically what we recommend. So we are done with that for the year. Our next big retail mailing will most likely be in January, kind of focusing on those new bright January books and what's coming up for the spring. Because keep in mind, with the retail, they plan far in advance. Libraries will maybe pick up a book last minute and put it up on their shelf, but for retail, they are planning easily 3 to 12 months in advance, depending on the store. For libraries, we kind of go throughout the year. We do about 4 mailings throughout the year where we reach out to libraries. I've got one that's just about to start. And then we will have another one probably at the end of the year. And those, of course, we reach out to our 7,000 library buyers and we present books to them by genre. And so if you're on our mailing list, you will get notice when we open that up and have signups for that. If you're not on our mailing list, go join it. Just go to newshelves.com. You can join our mailing list, and then you will not only get industry news every week where we kind of look for articles and what's going on in the industry and send them out, but you will also get updates anytime we do free webinars. If we have special programs like the library mailer, the bookstore mailer, you get all of that information from us. Okay, let's see. If you have questions, again, drop them in the Q&A. Make sure I didn't lose any over here. A question that is continued on. Last week we talked about the Ingram Spark print price increase. In the US, prices will be going up 6% for print pricing in November. I want to say it's November 6th, but it's 6%. And then in the UK, it is going up 3%. May I encourage you that if you would like books, if you would like copies of your own book, if you're ordering books for Christmas for yourself or from another author, now is the time to order. Not only can you get those books cheaper right now, this happens every single year, and we're already seeing it where the print time starts to roll out even longer. There is now there's a hold on any expedited printing. Ingram Spark's no longer doing that because we're rolling into the holiday season. It's taking about 10 business days, which is 2 weeks, 10 business days for them to print a book, and then they'll ship it out. And if you do expedited shipping, that's quicker, but the printing never is. So not right now anyway. So if you ordered a book today and you did expedited shipping, 2-day shipping, which is super expensive, you still wouldn't get your books until October, like the first or second week in October. So please, 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 if you are looking for books for an event anywhere around the holiday, order your books now. I have also heard there are just delays in book printing everywhere. We are seeing big publishers, traditional publishers, push out their launch dates because they simply can't get books here in time. They're getting stuck at customs. They're simply not printing out or getting here quickly enough. So if you want to order books for your own books as author copies, go grab them early, grab them now. And if you are looking to buy books for anyone for Christmas, if you have a favorite author and you're looking to buy books or anything, ship times are going to be crazy this year. They just are. We're already hearing that there's going to be delays in shipping. So if you intend to order anything, just anything between now and Christmas, and you hope to have it by then, order it now, order it early, do yourself a favor. I'm hearing this in all places for retail, not just books. And ship times, I mean, I've done it. I ordered something the other day from Amazon. Okay, 2-day shipping. I'll have it on Friday. And then I got a notification that it should arrive sometime between January 7th and 21st. So we should expect those kinds of delays, and we should absolutely just kind of rearrange ourselves around that and make sure that we're planning ahead. It stinks, and we wish it didn't happen, but as far as getting our books on time for events, for sales or anything like that, order early, because that's something that you can do to take some stress off yourself. Yes, I have heard from multiple industries, not only in publishing, but I've also heard in the restaurant industry that there's a paper shortage coming. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's been an adventure in the last year and a half, hasn't it? All right. KDP recommends matte covers for fiction and glossy for nonfiction hardcovers, but states the glossy covers are preferable for imagery. What would you recommend? Typically, matte covers are trending. So matte covers tend to be more popular right now for both actually fiction and nonfiction. However, there are some times when a glossy cover can benefit you. Number one, if your book is light or white, it will get scuff marks with the matte and it won't look very pretty. So if you have a light or white cover, consider going glossy so that it doesn't get gross looking. Also, if you've got a lot of detailed imagery, that gloss will make your image pop. If you have fine details, if you have a lot of color, it will certainly pop. Now, what's happening with a lot of fiction covers at the moment is big, bold lines, typically just one or two, maybe three colors that are really big and bold. And in that case, I'd go matte because, again, it's trending. So there's no one size fits all answer, but there are trends, and the trends are go with a matte cover unless there's a reason for a glossy cover, and that's what I recommend. I'm going to wrap my Christmas presents in tinfoil this year. Well, that's great. So when you take it off, you can just make it into a hat and, you know. Let's see. Randy, email me. Let's chat. All right. My cat question in the chat. Oh, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Jane, let me read it here. My cat question. Cat Instagram accounts can have thousands of followers. I am thinking of giving my new cat her own page, Mystery Loving Cat or Cat Who Reads, or I might name her after my character's sister Agatha. Thoughts? They absolutely do. I have said for a long time, people love puppies. They love cats. They even love kids. And so they are a draw. They are definitely for Instagram and Facebook and things like that. They can get a lot of people interested. I have actually talked to people who have huge accounts for their dogs. I even started one for Griff. Not that I keep up with it, but I did start one. And you can certainly get thousands of followers, but the key is you have to devote the time to building it. You have to be willing to do the pictures, to do the videos, to post them, to get them the outfits, to do all of those things so that you're engaging an audience. And you have to also invite questions in and respond to them. You have to go and engage on other accounts. So it does take time and effort. Could you use it? Absolutely. But do you have the time to devote to it? Are you looking to do it just for fun, or are you really trying to use that as a book marketing tactic? And if you're going to use it as a book marketing tactic, the question then becomes, what's the ROI as far as maybe not actual investment of money, but of time? Is it worth your time, or would other things do better? Because let's keep in mind, just because an account has thousands of followers, if all they're expecting to see is cats, it doesn't mean that when you post a book post that it will get the same attention or that it will actually get clicks or things. It just depends on how you position the whole thing. That's funny. So Bob is saying he's talking to his publisher today about doing a cat account to promote the next book, which is about cats. Cats are trending, apparently. Oh, I'm being told to post the exact time for each post, trying to think about. So what they're saying is you create, and when we talk about this with blogging and everything, Free Advice Friday, it's every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Why? Because then it trains people. This is where you see me. This is when you see me. And it gets people on a schedule so that they come and they know what to expect. And the same thing can be true of things like Instagram and those kinds of posts. Posting at the same exact time every day can condition people. Years ago, I don't even know if it's still going on, but years ago, there was a website called Post Secret that was very popular, and people would send in their secrets and then they'd get posted to a blog, and it always happened on Sunday. So Sunday morning, people were very conditioned to hop on Post Secret and read through these secret things. So conditioning people to know what to expect and when to expect it is really part of the success of marketing on certain aspects, like a blog or social media. Consistency and the timing is very important, your schedule. Let's see. Point would be is to get cat groups, which are large, to discover you and fold you into their audience. Certainly, it helps when you have people who are also in the same thing, who have already built platforms that kind of fold you in. So for the holidays, I should do Facebook, Amazon ads in September, October, November. Does Barnes & Noble have ads? Barnes & Noble does have ads. I've never personally had great success with them. I don't use them very often, but they do have ads for sure. Amazon, Amazon is where everyone's browsing. Everyone's browsing because they're going to buy everything on Amazon, and then they're going to try to get it shipped, and it's not going to come in time. Look at me, I'm such a Debbie Downer today. But I think Amazon ads for sure, that's where people are actually browsing. Facebook ads won't work for every book. Also, I'll put that out there. Facebook ads tend to do well if you are in children's books. Think of the parents and grandparents who will be tempted to go on and buy little Jimmy a new book. It can work really well, Facebook ads, for anything on Kindle Unlimited, because it's a transfer over and they're not really expected to buy anything. They are downloading it instead, so that can work well. And Facebook ads can work really well to grab interest. Like if you have a business book and you're trying to grab interest to promote something for your business, that can work. But again, you have to have an end goal. You can't just put your book up there. It's either go buy my book, go join my group, go join our big, in January, we're going to have this big event where we really build our businesses in 10 days. You have to have something to drag them in and get them signed up and on board with you. Let's see. And would January be a good time to get with new shelves for planning out my future writing and querying ideas? Anytime's a good time. You can always reach out to us. Keep in mind that anytime you're trying to come up with a schedule or a plan, you need to come up with a schedule or a plan weeks to months in advance. So if you're trying to get a plan together for January, you need to be doing that now. Let's see. Hi, Karen. Dorinda, I see your hand raised. Just to let you know, if you have a question, put it in the chat, put it in the Q&A, and I'll get right over to it. You are welcome to drop that in. All right, I think we got through most of the questions here today, but if you have any last minute questions, we've got about 10 more minutes. So you are welcome to drop them into the Q&A chat. Let me see. No, Tara, you emailed me one yesterday. No, and I checked email this morning. Although I did have someone say, I'm never winning here. I did have someone say that they were having emails to me returned yesterday. No. I don't see that from you. I'm so sorry, Tara, but if you could retype it. I'll have to check into that. Oops. All right. Yeah. Oh, if you sent anything to questions@freeadvicefridays.com, it would not have gone through because we are currently switching over our server. I didn't even think about that. We were switching over our server from Amy's account to my account. I am so sorry, Tara, but at least that explains the mystery. I didn't even think about that. But if you do have questions, drop them in. I will still answer them. Let's see. I feel a little less lost at least. Let's see. All right. Oh, all right. Let's see. Give me 2 seconds to read through this. Oh, yes. Wendy and I were talking about this, Tara. So Tara's saying that she had 2 books that they were running very successful Amazon ad campaigns for, and they were shut down because they're no longer compliant with current creative acceptance policies. One is a 2-time cancer survivor's memoir, and the other is a health optimizing immune system book. They point out the 2 reasons why the ad is rejected, and because of the ad text itself, but also because the book has a medicinal or therapeutic aspect to it. I'm only concerned about spending too much time tweaking the ad text only to have it continue to be rejected, excuse me, because of the categories in the book. Can ads be successfully run for health-related books? This has just started, Tara. They've really started to crack down as far as health-related books. Wendy's book is about weight loss, and that also got flagged, and her ads were taken down and stopped. They were suspended. So we are seeing this, and Amazon does this occasionally. They will revamp policies, or they will start really cracking down on some of these things. We saw it a couple months ago, 6 months ago. It was politics. Anything having to do any possible way with politics was being shut down. I had a Civil War novel that was shut down because of politics. So crazy things there. And now we're definitely seeing it in the health and wellness sector. I think it's very much related to COVID. And in my experience, you can contest it. Sometimes they'll budge, sometimes they won't. You have to be really careful about making any promises or claims. Sometimes the title is the problem. For Wendy, an example, Wendy's, what they didn't like was her subtitle, which was talking about permanent weight loss. So how does that work? Where do you get around? I say you try to fix it, you resubmit, you contest, and if they still tell you no, leave it alone. I would give it a couple weeks and try it again. In my opinion, I think they're probably flagging your account. So if you keep trying, you'll stay on the radar. I would kind of back away from that, maybe go to Facebook for a little while for ads, and then come back and try to run those. But they definitely are censoring what ads you're allowed to run. And even if they let your ads run, I've also seen this, they let your ads run, but then only some of your keywords are getting impressions. It's not that you're not getting, you shouldn't get impressions. They are suppressing those keywords and not running ads for them, even though they don't necessarily tell you that. So on the Civil War book that we had, even though they did eventually let us run ads, we had like 3 of 500 keywords getting impressions. The other ones weren't. They're, I have no doubt, popular keywords. So they simply were suppressing it because of the content of the book. And it's Amazon's playground and they can do what they want, unfortunately. So yeah, I contested the first one since it's a memoir. It's all about the language and the wording. And again, depending on the title of the book, they're really doing that. They're even doing, I had a client who, again, same series, Civil War book. And so they have a gun because it's a war. It was rejected because of the violence and a gun on a cover, even though there's like the guy was just holding a gun. It was rejected because of that. So, yeah, it surprises me that so the memoir is Cancer Gifts, Lessons in Gratitude, Acceptance, and Perseverance. I am surprised that title would get it. I definitely would wonder if it's maybe just your marketing copy that got them there. Same thing with Marie's. Optimize Your Immune System doesn't seem like it doesn't promise you'll be healthy or anything like that. I would really be checking out your text, or maybe try to run an ad with no custom text and see if that gets through. Yeah. All right. Do you have any recommendation on appealing for Amazon KDP to correct their max prices for 70% royalty tier in California, Australia, New Zealand, and 35% in Mexico? Their max prices are far below foreign exchange rates and competitors' recommended prices. They're not going to. I mean, you can certainly submit and you can give them feedback, but again, they look at where their income is coming from. They do look at exchange rates, and they essentially just, yes, I'm sorry, Canada, not California, but they essentially just, it's not worth it to them. And so they can do what they want. It's Kindle. They have 91% of the ebook market. So again, their playground, they're kind of doing what they want. You can always send in feedback and ask them about that. But because the exchange rates do change, they do go up and down, they typically will set things where they feel comfortable not having to change it often or ever, where they know they will always be making their profit. And that's exactly what they're doing here. Although, I mean, we've seen if enough people complain, it does eventually, it can make a difference. Not always, but it can. So. All right, you guys. Thanks for another great Free Advice Friday. I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend. And we will be back next Friday, same time, same place, 10 a.m. Eastern. You can always join us, newshelves.com/FAF. You sign up for the Zoom and you join us whenever you want to. It is always great to see you guys. And we will see you next week. Bye.